Are you intimidated by carbon steel cookware because you don't know how to clean it? I've got some tips and techniques to help you feel confident enough to use these pans every day. Hey, it's Rhoda from Made In, and we all know that keeping your pans clean and well maintained is a great first step in the kitchen. So today we're talking about pans, carbon steel pans to be specific. Chefs love carbon steel because it gets a really great sear, it's lighter weight than cast iron, and it becomes naturally nonstick over time. Some people are intimidated by carbon steel cookware because they don't know how to clean it. I've got 3 levels of mess here, from easy to difficult, and I've got the right tools to show you how to get these pans clean. You can feel confident about your next cook. And here's what you need: a brush, a stainless steel scrubber, some seasoning wax, high smoke point oil, and coarse salt. If there's one thing I want you to remember from this video, it's don't use soap and don't put carbon steel cookware in the dishwasher because it can strip away the seasoning and cause rust to form. Let's start with level 1. Level 1, we have light residue. Sometimes you can get away with just wiping out your pan and then storing it, but if you have a little bit more stuck on like I do here, looks like maybe pancakes or something, I'm going to use my brush method. So this method is going to call for a 1-to-1 mixture of a high smoke point oil and a coarse salt. I'm gonna use about 2 tablespoons of each. You don't have to be as precise as I'm being. I really like using kosher salt because it's pretty cheap, but you could use a coarse sea salt if you prefer. I'm just gonna start gently scrubbing. I've got a little bit of burnt on oil here and then a little bit of that batter, it looks like. So I'm just gonna scrub, and this brush has pretty soft bristles, so it's not gonna scrape off any of my seasoning. And then the salt is just acting as like a really gentle abrasive. This looks good to me, so I'm gonna go ahead and rinse it and then bring it back to the stovetop to dry it out. Now that I've rinsed, I'm going to heat this over low heat to get it bone dry. And we like to heat our pans to make sure they're really super dry before storing them, because that can help prevent rust from forming. All right, it's dry. I'm gonna let it cool a little bit, and then I'm gonna add a very thin layer of my seasoning wax. This wax is a blend of rice bran wax and 2 high smoke point oils, canola and grapeseed, all over the pan, inside and out. And this is just gonna help protect your seasoning in between cooks. You want your pan to look a little hydrated. You don't want it to look dry. Okay, now I can store this until the next time I need it for cooking. All right, level 2. We have some kind of burnt on bits here, maybe some bacon, a little grease in this pan. I'm just gonna scrape off whatever bits I can first. For level 2, I need a little bit of water and this chainmail style scrubber, and it has a flexible silicone core so that it can really bend and get into all the corners of your pan. And I really like this for removing kind of burnt on bits. I'm just gonna scrub in circular motions, and this isn't gonna take too much elbow grease. It doesn't look too bad. It's a little bit harder than my level 1, but I think this scrubber can handle it. I'm gonna take this over to the sink, rinse it with some warm water. If there's any little bits that I see, I'll take the scrubber with me and just hit those while I'm in the sink, and then I'll bring it back over to the stovetop to make sure that it gets really dry. The scrubber did a really good job of getting off all those bacon bits from the pan. Just like level 1, I'm gonna apply a really thin layer of wax to protect our seasoning. I'm gonna go all the way around the inside, just a thin layer until it looks a little bit shiny. And don't forget the backside. That needs to be hydrated too. This one's ready to store until the next time we need it. Now on to level 3. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little worried about this one. This is a mess. I think we have some burnt meat, some kind of ground beef and onions on here. This is gonna be a challenge, and I'm gonna need the whole set for this. I'm gonna start by just trying to scrape out as much as I can, which is actually a fair amount. I'm gonna add about ½ inch of water to this pan and bring it to a boil, and that'll help to loosen some of these really burnt on bits of food. Last time I did this with a cool pan and cool water. This time I need to heat up that water to really kind of dislodge all of the bits that are stuck onto this pan. So I'm gonna bring it up to a boil. All right, we are boiling, so I'm gonna kill the heat. And then I'm just gonna go in with my scrubber and see if I can get some of these burnt on pieces off. So be careful not to burn yourself. So I'm just seeing some of those food particles come up from the bottom of the pan. And now I'm gonna take it to the sink and rinse it out and just see where I am. So the scrubber got us pretty far, but I'm gonna go in with the brush and kind of do some fine detail work here. Got my brush, and I'm just gonna do a little with salt. Not overheat right now, and there is still some water in the pan, and that's totally fine. And I'm just gonna make sure it's really clean and that all of that burnt on oil and food is gone. Okay, I think we're in a pretty good place, so I'm gonna head back over to the sink and rinse this out. All right, just like level 1 and 2, towel, get you part of the way. but this heat will make sure it's really dry all the way through. Now I need to let it cool down, and then I'm gonna apply my wax. This time, I'm not just gonna protect it, I'm actually gonna season it. When you apply the wax and you store the pan, that's protecting your pan. But if you heat the wax, that is seasoning. Okay, so I've applied a thin layer of this wax. Now I'm gonna go over medium-high heat, and I'm actually waiting for this wax to start to smoke, and that means the oils in it are polymerizing, which is gonna help to build up that seasoning that I have on the pan. This is gonna take 1 to 2 minutes to heat up over medium-high, and I see the smoke wisps coming off the pan, so I'm going to turn off the heat and let it cool down before I put it away. All right, we got through it. We're alive. I cleaned all 3 of these pans. From level 1, slight residue, went in with the brush, the salt, and the oil. Level 2, a little bit more food was stuck on, went in with the scrubber, a little water. And then level 3, that was bad, okay? And I went in with my scrubber, followed up with the brush, and then we re-seasoned it at the end. And that one was pretty satisfying, I have to say. One way to make sure your food's not gonna stick and make messes like this is make sure you have a really nice level of seasoning on your pan, and always preheat it before you add any food to it. But you know what? Stuff happens. Your mother-in-law might use soap on your pan. Your sister might put your pan in your dishwasher. You might leave your pan out on your grill and it gets rusty. If it gets really, really bad, we have restoration videos for that. Just know carbon steel is basically indestructible. You've never truly ruined your pan. You can always bring it back. Please leave me comments, send me your questions, let me know what you want to learn about next. I'm Rhoda from Made In, and I'll see you next time.